Hello and welcome to another episode of my narrated rolls, where I look at videos of me rolling with my friends Jason and Gosha in their home garage dojo. This week a little bit different. We do a little bit of Nogi, and the reason we did Nogi is because I had sunburn on my neck and I couldn't wear the gi jacket because it was hurting my neck so much. So about halfway through the first roll, I asked if we could do Nogi instead, and very kindly they agreed. So you'll see some rare Nogi action from me. In this roll, I just want to show you how I couldn't get away from the gi techniques, and I used a little bit of Nogi spider guard. Would you believe it? It is such a possible thing. So let's kick off the action here. This is about the fourth or fifth roll into our session. And I start seated in butterfly. A little bit of grip exchange. With Nogi, it's useful to remind yourself that the connection points are the joints of the body. So wrist, elbow, underhooks. So here we go. Here you can see I'm already starting to build up. This is the same game that I would play if I was playing with the gi. I'm grabbing around the sleeves here. I've got a foot on the hip. And I've got well, what can only be described as a spider guard, or at least foot on bicep style position. So yeah, that's an interesting way of playing open guard. Let's continue the footage. See how well I do with this this version of Nogi spider guard. Pushing up against his arm. I'm doing all the things. I give up Delahiva hooks, deep Delahiva. Still continue with that wrist grab. The thing with Nogi is fairly easy to get rid of the grips, unless you have Daniel Strauss style grips, in which case it's really hard. Anyway, still playing like I'm playing in the gi. This is not Polarist. Anyway, I get the idea. So I'm sort of going for arm drags. You'll see. Later on, or at least trying to manipulate the lead arm here. Yeah, there's an attempt at some sort of arm draggy type of thing. I'm not sure what I'm trying to achieve here. I'm just... There we go, a little reverse Kimura. Don't know why, just thought because it's a hold. Now, as soon as we'll just rewind that back a bit, because that's interesting. As soon as I grab Jason's neck, I have a solid clasp and an ability to get up to a higher level, which it's sort of dawned on me. Bearing in mind, this is I very rarely do Nogi, so to get away from the gi there. So as soon as I grab around the neck here, I'm able to and base out here. I'm able to move up a level, and that's important because especially in Nogi, when I can change the levels, I have speed, mobility, and options that I couldn't have when I was just sat on my bum. There we go, standing up, moving around, there you go, and then past the guard. Or at least attempt to. Jason does all the right things, he's fending me off, framing very nicely. He's got a half guard on me, albeit in a sort of odd position. Looks like he's grabbed my head there. I've got a grab around the head. Yeah, I'm kind of caught in his weird half guard here, which has entangled my legs. Applying my weight, and Jason's quite cleverly grabbed a hold of my hands here to stop me doing something with them. He rolls over, exits, and now he's turned the tables. So now he is on top of me, and I go into running man position. From running man, I go to turtle. Again, I've mentioned it many times, I feel fairly safe for turtle. I'm not sure what I'm doing there. I shouldn't stay so long in this wrestling position. Gives him access to all the places that he knows. I should either bust out or go back down into turtle. And then we're in a sort of... he's attacking my back. He's got a single hook around here, which is very useful when you take the back and you can't get both hooks in. And I think the round continues with him in this single hook on my back and over my chest. So that was an interesting round. I just wanted to show how I was able to adapt some gi open guard to Nogi. Not the best. I probably wouldn't recommend it. It's just I found it hard to switch from gi to Nogi within the same session. But we'll move on to another round, which is a little bit more frenetically placed, a little bit more applicable to the Nogi game. And I'll just pause the video and we'll come back to another video from the same session where we were doing a bit of Nogi. So we moved on to another round between Jason and I, and with Nogi there tends to be arguably a few more attempts at foot attacks, and the reason for that is that one of the defenses to at least the straight ankle lock is for the opponent to grab your gi and prevent you stretching out and trying to leverage for a footlock. But with Nogi, that is much less present. Bear in mind, Jason and I are still rolling to IBJJF rules, so we're doing straight ankle locks, toe holds, knee bars, but we're not doing heel hooks. So let's have a look at how this progresses, and we can have a little fun with this one. So again, I'm starting in butterfly. I'm not bothering with stand up because I can't do wrestling. At least I've got wrist and elbow grip. I'm still going for these gi based style open guards. I've gone for a lasso, probably unwisely. I've turned into some sort of half guard, knee shields, and straight away so this is a nice point. So if we go back a little bit, again, I just wanted to point out a very useful point. It's if you ever like me and you sort of do Nogi once a month, the switch from gi to Nogi can be a little bit awkward. So one thing that is useful to just bear in mind if you're lacking gripping points is to grab the head. A very simple thing, but grab behind the neck and you can pull yourself up. Very useful little thing, very simple to learn, very simple to remember, and it will get you out of a lot of places. So that's useful to learn. So we see what I do, and I get up. A little bit cranky, apologise. But look at Jason, he's got a arm around my ankle here. Danger sign, signal, warning, warning. Let's see what happens. Let's see what he does with this one. So I realise he's in a bit of danger actually. All he has to do is sweep me over, which he does, and he can work a nice straight ankle. I realise I'm in danger. I try and escape, but he's got that knee over my hip line, which stops this leg here from stepping over. Again, remember, I can't grab his gi, which would normally be around the gi lapel, which would be around here, which would be a sort of a point where I could detach myself, stop him from, and he gets the tap. We'll just rewind that. Let's have Jason. Let's give Jason some glory here. Give him so it's kind of like a version of a belly down straight ankle. There you go. Only he's not belly down. He's upright. No time for me to wipe my tears. Straight back to rolling. Wrist grab. I flop down. In my mind, I'm thinking, although I look peaceful, I am thinking I'm going to get my own back and get a footlock back on Jason. Such is the way. Manipulating his elbow position. Again, I'm still trying to play like I've got the gi on with these open guards. It's the opposite of wrestling. So he's got another footlock attempt on me, but this time I managed to successfully navigate that, and I attempt a toe hold. Not the best position for a toe hold. I see how Jason's foot is anchored to the ground here. Whenever somebody attacks your foot, putting your foot on the ground, making contact with the surface, is always a good idea to defend yourself. But anyway, so I know that I have to lift his foot off the ground. Bearing in mind, I'm also in danger with a footlock. You can't see it, but he's got some grip on my hand there. So I roll over. And that's the chance for my reverse hold or gable grip style toe hold. We'll rewind that one. So it's time for me to have a little glory here. Here, we'll just take it back a bit actually, because the setup for this is just as important. And this is a common setup that I use. I'll go for something mundane like a straight ankle, probably without any hope of actually getting it. And usually as one of their defenses, they move the foot being attacked across my body line. And there. So as soon as it moves across my body line here, this foot I'm talking about, then that's a trigger for me to attack that foot with the Dean Lister style, I believe he calls it a corkscrew toe hold. So there you go. And the corkscrew toe hold is, I'll break it down for you because it's interesting to learn if you play these rules. So his foot has gone across my body line, I've already mentioned that, and then there. So I reach in with my left arm underneath his leg, and the right arm covers his toes. And we'll just maybe I'll do a breakdown of this there. And it's just basically a toe hold. It's kind of like a cross between a steamer lock that has gone, that you're not using your stomach for to power. I'm just using the gable grip to create the power. So that was that. Let's continue to roll. See if anything else interesting happens. So we're 1-1 in submissions on this round. A little bit more open guard. I don't learn my lesson. A reverse De La Hiva here. Now, the reverse De La Hiva is useful in the gi. I don't know how useful it is no-gi. I'll have to do a bit of research as to see who uses it in the no-gi. But from reverse De La Hiva, probably the coolest technique you can do is Kiss of the Dragon. But failing that, at the very least you can do is to ensure that your arm acts as a wedge between his knee and the floor here. Very important, because if Jason gets his knee across the ground, it's all over. It's a knee slide pass for him. So he actually gets his knee to the ground here, but I've still got my arm. Okay, he's moved his knee away. He's attacking my upper body. I somehow managed to lever myself away and out, and then we're back to neutral again. I try a cheeky wrist lock, or at least twisting his wrist to as a warning. Oh, maybe I try another speculative toe hold there. Oh, I think that was a tap actually. Let's go back. That's interesting. I think that was actually a tap. It might have been a verbal tap. Let's have a look. Do it step by step. No. Actually, let's have a look. Sorry, I didn't spot that first time round. So there you go. I reach in underneath, and I'm already shaping up. Because see, I'm shaping up for this, and I want to bend his toes this way. So let's see if that happens. Step by step, reach round. Yep. Well, they are sort of bent. Jason very casually gives a verbal tap, probably because he just can't be bothered to fight it. And you can hear me saying, no, I'm not having that. I don't think that was a true tap. Or if we were in the beginning of the fight, he wouldn't have tapped to that. I think he was just like, alright, I'll give you that. There you go. Immediately snap on. Jason rotates around very cleverly, making his leg unfootlockable by bending the leg there. And that's the end of the round. So an interesting round. I wanted to show you how badly I adapt my gi game into the no-gi situation, but also perhaps it's an illustration of some things that I did do right, mainly attacking the feet and hooking my hands around the neck to give me extra leverage and movement, also grabbing at the wrists and the elbows. There's a sort of fallacy that when you train no-gi you have less options than in the gi, and I would argue that is not the case. In fact, you have more options because you have more freedom of movement, and sometimes the gi can hamper you in terms of them gripping you so that you can't move, or you gripping them and you're so tied to gripping that gi that you don't consider other options. With no-gi you have more freedom, if you like, to play those other options. and that's probably why you don't see a lot of things like DAS chokes and basic head and arm type style attacks in the gi, because of the sort of the cloth being in the way. And arguably there's slightly less leg and foot attacks in the gi based game compared to Nogi, just because the other person has less opportunities to defend themselves by grabbing your gi. Anyway, I'm not sure if we'll do Nogi again. Perhaps I'll suggest it if the weather gets hotter. But in the meantime, consider this a rare outing from me in Nogi, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much.